Have you ever felt like the world is in a constant battle, a grand struggle between good and evil, light and darkness? The Bible actually describes this very scene. It's a massive contest for the kingdom of Christ, with heaven and hell as the main players and the battlefield. It's right here on earth. For a long time, Satan has had a kind of usurped authority here. He's even been called the god of this world. He knows that as the kingdom of the Messiah grows, his own power shrinks. So, you can bet he's not going down without a fight. The establishment of Christ's kingdom is certain, but it won't be a quiet affair. Just think about it. When Jesus came, you'd expect everyone to welcome him with open arms, right? A message of hope, love, and salvation for the world. But what happened was the exact opposite. Never, in history, has a philosophy or a ruler faced such intense and violent opposition as the teachings of Christ. It's a clear sign that this message was from heaven because the opposition was so clearly from hell. Who were these opponents? The Bible tells us it was a strange alliance of princes and people, the courts and the countryside. The powerful rulers and the common crowds, who usually love their freedom, suddenly resisted the ultimate freedom Christ came to offer. It wasn't just the mob, but the mighty kings and rulers who should have known better. They saw Christ's spiritual kingdom as a threat to their worldly power. Even though it wasn't, this shows just how deep the hostility against God can run. And what exactly were they fighting against? The Scripture says, "Against the Lord and against his anointed." That's Christ, the Messiah. So, anyone who opposes Christ is ultimately opposing God himself. They're not just fighting a man. They're fighting the one authorized and sent by God to be king. Their opposition was fierce. The Bible uses words like rage. They were furious, gnashing their teeth because Christ's kingdom was advancing. They plotted and planned, thinking they could actually stop God's plan. They stubbornly set themselves against reason, against conscience, and against God. They even teamed up, holding councils to figure out how to crush this new movement. What was their main complaint? Let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. They didn't want to be governed by God's laws. They wanted freedom to live as they pleased without moral restraint. The rules of Christ, which are meant to guide us in love and protect us, felt like chains to them. They wanted to break free from the very things designed for their own good. But the text then asks a powerful question. Why? Why do they do this? Their opposition makes no sense. Christ's government is just, holy, and good. It wouldn't harm their earthly kingdoms. In fact, it would make the world a better place. En secondly, possibly, it's a vain thing to fight against the Almighty. You can't stop the tide with a bucket. Now, here comes the best part, the epic victory. When it's heaven versus earth, who do you think is going to win? The kings and people of the earth are just that earthly. But the one there fighting sits enthroned in the heavens. From his vantage point, he sees all their plans. He has all the power to overcome their every move. Est there, completely at rest by their threat. In fact, God finds their efforts laughable. He holds them in derision. Their furious, formidable plans are, from his perspective, utterly ridiculous. Imagine dogs barking at the moon. It doesn't stop the moon from shining. God doesn't even have to stand up to win. He sits still and conquers, but he doesn't just laugh. he also acts. God is justly displeased with their arrogant rebellion. The Scripture says he will speak to them in his wrath. Just a word from God is enough to bring confusion and ruin to his enemies. Their own rage can't vex God, but God's perfect stillness can completely unravel them. Invenant décisivement. God declares, "Yet have I set my king upon my holy hill of Zion, despite all the opposition." All the plotting, all the rage God's plan is already accomplished. Jesus Christ is exalted. He has all power in heaven and on earth. Et est ce king, appoint God the Father. His throne is set in his church, in the hearts of believers. So, when we see turmoil and opposition to faith in the world, we don't need to fear. We can have a holy confidence, knowing that all enemies of Christ will ultimately be made his footstool. His kingdom has come, and it will continue to advance forever. Thanks for watching. If this message resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that dives deep into the powerful truths of Scripture. See you next time.